Well, welcome to another episode here on the Alberta Wedding Podcast. I am your host, Kevin Marr. I am so happy that you're here, whether you're listening in the headphones or you're watching on YouTube. I'm really happy and excited you're here. And I must admit, this is not wedding related, but I have a bit of a confession I have to make here on the podcast before I introduce my guest.
Okay.
So, when it comes to chocolate bars, I am team caramel.
Oh, no.
I have to admit.
Okay. That's okay.
But
no offense taken. No offense taken.
I've never tried a Twix yet.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I've never tried a Twix bar yet. So maybe towards the end of this episode, I'll give it a try to this.
I would love that.
Yeah, that leads me to my amazing guest I have on for this month, the one and only Tom Wilcox of Happy Life Entertainment, but also DJ Twixx.
Yes, sir. That is I. That is me. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, bro. I honestly, Kevin, I've been following your podcast for a while now, and you do some really great work. And I honestly just wanted to start off by saying thank you to doing all this hard work and getting behind the camera and getting all of us on there with you and just kind of helping, everybody grow, including the industry itself. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm happy to have you here. And we've known each other for a number of years.
Yeah,
we're both not strangers to the scene when it comes to weddings and just being out there and sharing our craft. And so I mentioned the Twixx because you are also known as DJ Twixx.
Yes.
And actually, before I jumped on here, I asked our followers, if they had any questions to ask you. And Andre Roman of Flux Media, who has been a guest here on the podcast, his question was,
sure,
is he a fan of the Twixx chocolate bar, or how did the name come to be? So usually I ask these questions later on, but I think we just need to get this out of the way.
No problem. I'll tell you guys right now. So I was in Saskatoon at the time when I chose the name. And it would have been about 2016, 2015, where it really started to kind of take place in Edmonton and make its debut. But I was in Saskatoon and I had a radio show, and they were like, we don't want you to go on DJing your radio show as DJ Tom Wilcox. It sounds weird. It's your government name. And we just don't really like that. It's just very like, DJ Tom Wilcox is on. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll think of something. And I came up with a few really ridiculous names. And my buddy Ryder was actually trying to tell me, he's like, yeah, you should just name yourself DJ Oregon Trail. And I was like, oh gosh, no, please no. So I had to really put my foot down and think of something. So my first name starts with T. My favorite chocolate bar is a Twix. My last name starts with W and has IX in it. Weird story, but I was actually born a twin brother. I made it out. He didn't. So it's not a big story or anything, but there's 2 Twix bars in a wrapper. So I kind of found that because I was originally born as a twin, there's two bars in a wrapper, TWIX. It just made sense. And I kind of ran with it. There was a few avenues pointing to that name. And I thought, this kind of makes sense for me. It's a household name. Obviously I kind of piggybacked a little bit off of the chocolate bar's name, but it made sense for me at the time. And it just kind of, it rang through here when I came to Edmonton and joined Hot 107. So that's where it took off. It didn't really do anything until then though.
Well, I guess that's how the cookie crumbles, right?
That's right. all the pun intended.
I mean, I had to get that out of the way, hit my quota for the episode.
Love it.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. That's really cool. I honestly, I had never heard that story. Yeah. And I've always wanted to know because it's so interesting how these names come about. And we may have some fun with this a little bit later on in the episode if we have some time.
Okay.
But I love to talk about how you got into entertainment and being DJ Twixx. And so I'll let you take the floor here. And
sure.
Yeah, I love to hear it all. Share away.
So I was just under 18 at the time. I was, going to local raves in Edmonton and seeing some shows and whatnot here. And I thought, wow, these guys are are serious showmen. Like they get up there, you know, the guys and the girls that are ripping the tunes at the raves. Back when I was a kid and I was 18, you know, 2001, it was a long time ago. The trends were different there. DJs were carrying records into parties, and we didn't really have any programs or software back then that, you know, allowed DJs to have that convenience and have music at the tip of their fingers, you know, every second and a half if you really wanted to. Back then you had to take the record off and put new records on. So we're watching these guys do their craft. You know, they're on the stage, they're peeling through records, huge boxes. They have guys with flashlights giving them songs and stuff. So it was more of a team orientation. And I was just, you know, watching as everybody was kind of adapting to this brand new scene, this rave scene in Edmonton. My first show that I watched was at the Polish Hall, and it just blew me away. I was like, oh man, I want to be a DJ. Music has never made me feel so amazing. And I thought, wow, if I can relate myself to these shows and have this much energy here and really feel this way in front of, you know, a massive stage full of just lasers, lights, and music, I want to be able to do that with myself, but I want to take my version of how I hear music and recreate the party in that way. So that's kind of how it all started. And then we bought turntables. A couple of friends and we all bought turntables, and we just started learning. And my friend Garrett Raymond, shout out to him. He came to the house one day and was like, "Hey, listen, like I learned how to beat match 2 songs. I got to show you." Blew me away, and that was the beginning. So Ryan Spincycle, Ryan Cornelius, DJ Spincycle, a huge well-known name at Edmonton, you know, Club Malibu to all these other clubs. He kind of took me under his wing when he saw my passion for it, and you know, let me come to the clubs a little bit early in life and DJ when I wasn't supposed to be DJing, and you know, do some cool things in the city that I never imagined doing before that. But yeah, hard work just kind of came full circle, and practicing all the time and sounding like crap for a certain amount of time, and eventually your mixes start sounding smoother and smoother, and people start listening. They're like, you know, all right, let's get you for a gig. So that was
I,
that.
I love that. And what year was that really when things started to really take off?
We did our first pub gig in 2002, and we were sweeping peanuts as part of the deal. We were in the West End at a place called Smoke and Joe's,
Yeah.
and the owner there, you know, it was a really, really really different pub. It wasn't really very busy at the time. It was kind of run down, and it was just surviving, and they wanted to kind of create a new scene. And we thought, you know, this is the perfect place for us to start our DJ career and kind of get practice in front of people. So we started there, and part of the deal was $60 a night, and you guys had to sweep peanuts at the end because it was a peanut bar. Never again. Oh my gosh. But it was a great intro to the scene, and it allowed us to kind of just adapt to having people in front of us and actually become a performer, a showman.
Well, you're certainly not being paid with peanuts anymore.
No.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that a
Sure.
little bit later on. I'm curious to know, like, besides the local rave scene and some of the other DJs locally that were inspiring you, what, who else was inspiring you, like, beyond the borders of Alberta? Like, who were some of the people that you were listening to all the time? I mean, back then it was different. I mean, you had Napster and
Yeah.
LimeWire, and like there was like, I mean, and then you got into MySpace. I'm aging myself. Clearly, I had more hair back then as well. But I'm curious to know, yeah, who really inspired you back then, or really just really kind of you pulled a lot of
Yeah.
your own style from.
So I would have to say I never really saw any major DJs that were influential in my realm of music. You know, I loved rave music, but I also loved 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, 50s, 60s. I loved all sorts of genres: country, hip hop, electro. I loved it all. So I didn't really know how to, I guess, kind of make it all mixed together, or take what I thought was really cool and mix them differently in a way that people thought was really amazing. And then I heard DJ AM play for the first time, and he was the first inspiration that really took me from, you know, listening and liking music and buying some turntables to what the potential was with music. He showed me, you know, the new ceiling of what was capable of being a DJ, and how we mixed. That came immediately after records were no longer the primary use of playing music. It was Serato, and Serato had launched, and DJ AM did a bunch of shows and stuff at tech conferences and DJ conferences and whatnot. And he blew everybody away with the convenience of Serato and the fact that he could, you know, jump into a program on a computer and relay that to a set of turntables and a mixer and scratch and do everything live on hand at the tip of your finger within a half a second or two. Yeah, it changed the game. It made everything so different. And with that exponential growth of technology and the program that we use for DJing, he showed us what was capable. And that's what really sparked my interest for DJing and taking things to the next level, which was, remixing, looping, scratching. Before, you could mix two records together, but you didn't have the opportunity to loop a song or do any of the fancy stuff that we have now, effects and cues and stuff. So it's really, really taken an exponential growth of like insane technology advancement with turntables, and controllers now are even wildly advanced. So the advance of tech has really taken DJing and made it so much easier for us to remix and make it sound better.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because obviously you and I, we grew up in a generation, probably the last generation, which will have known what life was like before social media. I mean, I am 40, I grew up mostly like in the 90s. I had cassette tapes in the early days,
Mm-hmm.
then CDs. And so I'm curious to know, as a DJ, and you're evolving, and I know for myself as a filmmaker, I've only been filming weddings since 2017, and so I couldn't even imagine doing what I'm doing now back in the early 2000s, where you had the big cameras and just like everything was bigger and heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know the evolution of technology. It's great, but it also comes with some challenges too.
Yep.
What were some of those early obstacles or challenges that you had to overcome as a DJ, as you're learning these new technologies that were coming fast and furious?
The basics of DJing was, mixing two songs together and scratching a record. And then it turned into having samplers and cues and all these different things. So you had to learn the program, and the program itself had so many different ways to change how you approached a mix.
Mm.
The way that you could change that mix live on the fly by using, multiple avenues of technology, effects, or cue pads to start bringing it back to a specific part of the song. And I think the most trouble I had was learning how to reorganize the way I approached my sets. Because
Okay.
now I'm not picking through records anymore. Now I have to go through folders and organize each folder and put all the songs that were my records, my favorite tracks that I played on records, into those folders and start to rearrange everything. And then with the internet coming out, like you said, LimeWire and all these different places to get our music from, it was obviously illegal at the time, but we didn't really have a choice going into these new
I don't know what you're
programs.
talking about.
A lot of different things that we had to dabble with to get this music onto our hard drive. And that was another thing. We didn't even know we needed a hard drive, and then we need to do all these different things. And so my friend and I were downloading as much as we could and just putting them on CDs. And we started out by playing with CDs, and then they went into this whole Serato thing. And when Serato really launched, the fact that we could use cue points and set specific areas and spots on a song to go back to with the click of a button completely changed the game for me. So I had to learn how to do that and set all the cue points for thousands and thousands of songs.
Holy cow.
It took some time,
Sounds
but it was
very
worth it.
tedious.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but it was great. It made me a better DJ. It made me learn the program better. And what they built for us was insane. So it took me a while to get a grip, but once you get organized, everything kind of falls into place.
Do you feel as though, because you grew up in that time where you didn't have all this new technology now,
Mm-hmm.
that compared to like new DJs that are coming in now, that they they they've never been exposed to that previous generation of technology? Do you feel that gives you an advantage, or I'm curious to know how that time in your life as a young and upcoming DJ has helped you become a better DJ now, and compared to someone who's coming right onto the scene right now,
Mm.
and they have all this technology right at their fingertips already, and so they're not needing to learn all those basics of like going through records. And
I I think the most important part. That's such a great question, Kevin. Oh my gosh, that creates so much depth. Wow,
I'm throwing you a lot of questions that I did not send you in advance, so I
that's
apologize.
okay. I love this. This is great. No, it digs deep. Honestly, Kevin, I think where we're sitting now, when I look back, um, I learned how to beat match with my ears.
Mm.
I didn't learn how to beat match with my eyes. I didn't have a screen in front of me, so everything was was all ears. You could close your eyes and mix the song and know that it's on. Now there's something called the sync button where newer DJs can just click sync and it kind of like auto, beat matches the song. It'll get the job done, but there's absolutely nothing extravagant about it. There's nothing unique or creative. It just kind of gets the job done, like I just said. And that's what separates in the industry, I guess, a low end DJ from a great DJ. If you just want to bulk that kind of, maybe we'll come back to that in a bit. But
Yeah.
To me, when I look at somebody and they're trying hard to learn a better way of mixing a song, that to me shows that, they're innovative, they're creative, they're finding new ways, they're passionate about their project. All of their sets aren't going to sound the same, and it's not an easy way out. It takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work to learn how to properly mix songs. And I guess,
and it's reps.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no like fast track to that, really. It's just those reps. I mean, it's training your ears. It's like, for me as a filmmaker, it's training my eyes and ears on how to perfectly capture a wedding, but also how to put that all together into a film that is going to be interesting and captivate people, right?
Which you do incredibly, sir.
Thank you.
Love your videos.
I'll send you a Twixxx bar later. As a
hey, it's like the slip the 20. Here's your $20. Here's your $20.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Kev. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I'm curious to know, because you're also the co-owner and co-founder of Happy Life Entertainment.
Yes.
I'd love to hear how that all began, because if I'm correct, that started in 2014.
Yeah.
Or around that time. I'm curious to know how that started, and just the evolution of what it's been like.
So we started Happy Life Entertainment back in 2014. It was originally called Happy Wife, Happy Life. And we loved it. We thought that was one of the greatest sayings ever. My grandma taught us that when we were kids, a happy wife is a happy life. And, obviously things have transitioned, and it's more of a, happy spouse, a happy house, because, you love who you love. And we wanted to kind of express ourselves with that. But when it comes to Happy Life Entertainment, we started in 2014 as radio DJs, wanting to kind of I had a bad taste in my mouth for wedding DJs at the time. I got to be honest. So I went to a few weddings and I'm like, oh gosh, this isn't what weddings should sound like. This could do way better. This could use, a nice little makeup. So we all got together and we decided, are we really going to be long-term radio DJs, or are we going to do something bigger with our talents? And we wanted to start a company, and we didn't really want to kind of step on toes in the industry. There was a lot of DJs that we knew that we're friends with. We were friends with at the time that were already wedding DJs and stuff, but we wanted to kind of make our way into the industry, because it was there was such a large gap in there. And we just found that the wedding DJs that were available were either already booked, and the rest that were booked for other weddings just weren't that great. So 10 years ago, you never really knew who was going to show up to your wedding, if he was tall, short, if you, not that matters, but you usually get to meet the DJ and kind of find out who they are and what they're all about, and their personalities and their talents, and read reviews and stuff. And back then there wasn't really a presence of Google reviews that you could go to that was, astounding. It wasn't something that was going to solidify a booking for me, or going to book somebody because of the review. We didn't really have that backup. So now that we have that, 2014 was the year that we started, and we went right from radio into the wedding scene. We did our first wedding show that year as we were making our way away from Hot 107 at the time. And we thought, this is going to be a great transition. And we ended up selling like 72 weddings in 24 hours.
Whew.
Yeah. And so, that's a lot of money. So
how was that? Like, I mean, like,
it was
going from 0 to 72, like that's
it was incredible. It was incredible. We had a really great back end at the time. And, knowing that we had great DJs and a great network, that back end for us was easy to launch. So promoting and having our name be present on the radio every day and whatnot was really what launched us into the scene as heavily as it did, and as quickly as it did. It was so intriguing to see the difference between a club DJ, a corporate event DJ, and then a wedding DJ. It was so different. When I first started, obviously we were all a little egocentric coming from the club because and the radio and stuff, and we thought, we're the man, we're the girl, and we're really good at what we do. And, we're the show, and that's not the way it is. I learned quickly that we are not the number one show at all. It's all about the bride and the groom, and mostly the bride, but the bride and the groom. And that's what I kind of had to realize, is that, in the club, sure, I could go play a set a certain way over here and have a different personality that, everybody get your hands up, and kind of provide that like really Las Vegas style energy.
Yeah.
Whereas at a wedding, we didn't really do that. So it was a really quick and drastic change from, 2014 to even 2016. Those first 2 years, it really taught me, it really reorganized my thoughts of what's important as a wedding DJ, how to be a wedding DJ, why are you a wedding DJ, and how can you be better than their expectations. That's kind of one of those things that I was trying to aim for, was how can I be better than what they expect.
Yeah, I'm curious to know, in those early years, there was obviously some growing pains,
Yes, absolutely.
and you're learning as you go.
Yeah.
I mean, you've DJ'd for many years prior to this, so but there's, as you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
going from radio from and the club scene to now, weddings. It is very different. It's a different atmosphere and different market clientele.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know a little bit more in detail as to some of those challenges or obstacles that you had to face. Maybe did you have any pushback from couples? It's like, no, that's not how we want to do it. Or I'm curious to know if you can think of just some of the hoops you had to jump through in those early days that really taught you probably some of the best lessons as a DJ that you still take with you to this day.
Um, we learned a lot, like I said, the first 2 years. I think the most important stuff was learning how to read the room, instead of just playing out of your folders, knowing that a song is going to be hype, and that you could just play 20 hype songs in a row, and the club dance floor is going to pop off. It's just, those are hype songs. They don't really care which order they're in. Play them and they're going to pop off. Now at a wedding, the challenge was, how do I host a wedding with class and not with a club energy? How do I train my fellow DJs on our team as we're growing to take away that club taste in their mouth and throw it away, and just completely rearrange and adapt to a brand new vibe, a brand new room, a brand new environment, complete class act, head held high, shoulders broad, ready to present yourself with the best of the best. But the biggest challenge for me was learning how to host, and just not trying to say too much or say too little, play too hard or play too soft. I think just reading the room and looking above your laptop, getting to adjust yourself to the demographic that's in the room. Obviously, the culture that's surrounding you at the time, and finding a way to really reenact all of their favorite songs with their favorite memories. And obviously during that event, whether it be corporate or wedding, focusing on what value you have as a DJ at their event. Like, where are they going to find the value as you hiring you as a DJ? Is it going to be in the photo booth? Is it going to be as the DJ or the host? Or, it all depends on what kind of personality they're hiring. But I think the biggest challenge for me was really learning that part of it, and just kind of adapting on the fly.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously I've done a lot of weddings over my time and worked with a bunch of different DJs, including yourselves, and you guys are clearly in the top echelon of DJs like that I want to work with, because I know it. Not only are you guys professional, you're classy, you know what you're doing, but you can read the room. And oh man, I'm not going to name any names on this podcast, but
Sure.
there's definitely been weddings I've done here in Alberta where honestly they should probably just had a Spotify playlist, because it was the same feeling.
Yeah.
And they didn't read the room, and they just, this is my script, this is, we're gonna go. And there was no like give or take. And yeah, as a filmmaker trying to capture the essence of the day, it can really be a party downer.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to, wrap up my day of filming, which is like the dance part. I'm only there for about a half hour to an hour. So it's really important for me to see as many people on the dance floor as I can to capture that essence. And when there's like nobody on the dance floor and the DJ's just like still rocking it, thinking he's like, he's doing
He's the
great.
show.
Yeah, he's the show,
he's
and
the
there's like
yeah.
and there's nobody on the dance floor,
Yeah.
and people are disinterested. There's no interaction, and yeah, it just, I mean, to me, that's one of the key differentiators when it comes to, a an okay DJ
Yeah.
from a great DJ to, even one of the, like you guys like were like at the top of the charts there, is like, yeah, being able to read the room and knowing that you're not just pushing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than that. It's that whole vibe.
Yeah, totally. And you get to host the most important day of their life. Like that is, you get to carry the environment. You get to put the tune to the new memory that they're creating that day. And all throughout the day, there's going to be many memories that are made with different family members. And I think the most important part of a wedding DJ compared to any other event DJ would be that you have to become a part of their family and blend in with the most important people of their lives, like their whole life. All the people they invited to their wedding, it's a timeline of memories with their most important people. That's exactly why they're there. And if I can cater to that and kind of, play music that is directly down that avenue and bring them back to when they were, bring the nostalgia back of the memories they had with those people, and say, hey, when you back in the 90s, here's some vibes, here's some early 2000s, here, throw your hands up over here, have some fun over here. Here's one for mom and dad. Here's one for grandma and grandpa. And when I say that, fitting in with the family for the day, that's probably one of the most important things you can do as a wedding DJ is, becoming that secondary, shoulder to lean on with music, and keeping the environment clean and not having any lulls in the day, and always having music kind of playing its ambience in the background, and just making sure that you're doing your due diligence to focus on exactly what they wanted. And yeah, a wedding DJ has a lot of responsibilities, but it's worth all of it. It's worth all of it and then some, for sure.
Yeah, no, it is. We all play a part, and I always like to use the analogy of a play, like a theater play. And
Yeah.
we all have these different roles to play, and we are on display. People can see who's performing, who's not.
Yeah.
And it really takes everyone to come together and be on the same page and have
Mm-hmm.
the same goal in mind, team bride and groom,
Yeah.
to make this well-oiled machine come together and be this most epic day for this couple that is only going to experience this one day in their entire lives.
Yeah. We hope once,
Hopefully.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people get remarried, but that's fine. As long as as long as they're happy, that's what matters. But yeah, no, we obviously hope that they do it once. And like you said, we got one shot. We have one shot at it.
One opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Eminem says, we got one opportunity. We got one shot. That's it. That's a wedding day for you. As
Mom
a wedding
spaghetti,
DJ, responsibility's heavy.
I would love to hear how the process is for you guys at Happy Life Entertainment when someone inquires,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's through your Instagram, your website, which we'll definitely share your handle and all that contact information at the end here. I'd love to hear just the step-by-step process of when someone inquires, to the consultations, to the planning, then ending up on the wedding day. And I'd love to hear just how you guide them through all that.
We had to figure out, who we were as a company first. And I think what we offered as far as services had to relate directly to how we sold them and what we found was important in that sales process. At Happy Life Entertainment, we're an elite entertainment company, and we're offering, photo booths and 360 video booths, uplighting, as well as LED screens across Canada. And that we provide all those things. We need to make sure that in each avenue that we're providing these services, we have to have a value that they seek with each product. And so I think the best part about our booking process is our back end. I think I'll focus on that right now. Our back end is incredibly detail oriented, and Sean is brilliant for this. Sean is my co-partner / co-owner. And, we needed to find a way to make booking your DJ or booking us headache free. And we wanted to have them see value in everything that we offered as far as services, and try and just create an easy headache free process for them to do that, to tell us what they wanted for their big day. And how we did that is we created a private bridal portal that asks all of the main questions that we've been asked from every bride since the beginning. And if we find that there's another new question that's been asked through an email or some sort of communication, that we add that to that list. And obviously the main plays would be all the formal songs, the first dance songs as well. Through ceremony to reception, there's a lot of really important moments, and they have different visions for how each moment is supposed to play its course. And no one likes to have those moments in silence. So these songs are so, so important. And it's not just about asking them what songs they like. It's asking them, what is your must playlist? What is your absolutely do not play these list? And is there any special custom edits that you need done? Are you and your dad dancing and having a fun choreography done to it? Do you need me to help you with that kind of thing? So the whole process of booking, it should be headache free. It should be fun, and it should be well accompanied by the music that they're choosing. So as long as you're knowledgeable, and in that back end, we provide that bridal portal, they can come through and literally customize, personalize every second of the entire day from front to back through those questions. And if there's something they just don't feel like answering, they just put NA beside it. So it makes it, seamless. And we streamline all those questions in one area. So it feels like they're not stressed out booking. They're not stressed out planning with us. They feel like all the choices are in order. They're easy to answer. And by the end of that, they can just click save. And then if they feel like changing anything, they can come back at any time, and everything's still saved, and they can add and then recreate and save again. And up to their big day, about 2 weeks out, we'll email them and we'll say, hey, listen, we just want to touch base and say hi to you guys, let you know that we're here for a meeting if you need us to. We love meeting with our couples, by the way. That just adds so much flavor to the day, and just a little bit more trust, and getting to know them obviously opens up the personalities a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that back end really solidifies the easiness for us when it comes to relating to our bride and groom and exactly what they want as far as music is concerned. So providing all the dinner background music, first dance, father, daughter, mother, son, customized dances if there need be one, intros, outros, introducing their name. There's so much more to it than just playing songs. So on these big days, I think the planning process is incredibly important, because if the bride feels stressed out during this process, she might feel stressed out arriving at her wedding, hoping that you're going to do the right job, or hoping that she had tackled everything. Whereas this portal kind of like solidifies here, we've asked everything. Are you good? 2 weeks out, you're okay. Do you want to have a meeting with us? Check it out, get to know us a little bit. Mostly we do. And then that solidifies it. And we feel like we've known them forever at that point. So it's definitely a blessing to get to know them beforehand. But that bridal portal is what really streamlines all of the questions right to them.
I love that, because I take a similar approach with my couples. And, as wedding professionals, I think a lot of times we wear multiple hats. Yes, you're hiring me for, the film your day to capture these memories, but there's all these other things or hats we wear. And so I spend a lot of time in the planning process with my couples too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Helping building that timeline, finding out, if they need any vendor recommendations.
Yeah.
Good DJs in the area.
Yeah.
And just like, what are some of their pain points? Like, what are some moments in the day that these are like obviously really crucial for us to make sure we are like on top of it, more than usual.
Yeah.
And so I like that you do have this bridal portal that your couples can go through and go at their pace and be able to like put in all their songs and just all those little details, because I really believe that sets the day up for success. And a confident couple is going to make it a very confident day, and it's just going to make the whole day so much more enjoyable and relaxing. And I want my couples to be able to just be in the moment and not stress and worry about timelines or details. It's like, let's get all this unsexy stuff done before the day. So on the day, you could be beautiful, sexy, fun, party away, and and rip it up on the dance floor at the end, right? So
Yeah.
I'm curious to know some of those frequently asked questions that you do get asked in like the early stages when they are reaching out and inquiring. What are some common questions that you get from couples?
The main one was like, are you with us all day? Like, or do you leave and come back or anything? And the answer is no, we don't. And like, unless we're leaving the ceremony area that's at a different location, we are with you all day. Like, we are your number one go-to music guy or girl for the entire day. We're there from the beginning to the end. And do you play swear words? That's another thing. And it's an easy answer. Is there kids there and do you want me to? It's all about their day. Whatever they want, they get. So if they don't want me to play swear words, they're going to hear every song clean. And I have no problem with that at all. Like I said, there's zero ego in this. Whatever they want, they get it. And do we play for kids? And absolutely on both those, we can play for kids. And if you'd like to turn up the party later on in the evening and the bride comes up, and I always mention this, like, hey, if there's a time where you're like, hey, the kids are gone, grandma and grandpa's gone, let's maybe turn it up and go club a little bit and amp up the energy.
Turn off Baby Shark and let's
yeah. So I start playing whatever they want. If they want, songs that are dirty, then I'll play them there. But those are the main few quick questions that they usually pop up with, hey, can we trust you to play clean music? Are you familiar with these kind of songs? Can you play these with kids? And can you talk on the microphone? Like, can you host? And absolutely, always. The thing is, they want somebody that is going to be confident and present on the microphone and in the room. And, your responsibility is to carry the ambience and the environment of their wedding or corporate event or birthday, whatever it may be, but wedding specifically right now that we're talking about, for their wedding, it is so important that you are very articulate. You're very clean cut. You're not trying to be funny. You're not trying to be ridiculous on the microphone or bring attention to yourself. Just keep it clean. And that's the main focus, I think, when it comes to weddings is if I'm at a club, I'm yelling, I'm having a good time on the microphone. If I'm at a wedding, I'm very soft-spoken, very articulate and presenting everybody's name with, the utmost precision because I've butchered a couple names here and there. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a few things about a wedding that really stick out for me. And the main thing is that this is the last time that the parents are really going to have that one-on-one moment with their kids. And that for me really hits home. I'm a very family-oriented person. And so when I organize them, I chat with them quite deeply before their big dances. And I just say, hey, is there anything you want to talk about or anything you want to get out? And the one question that they ask me, this is a big one near the end of our sittings, our meetings, is that, do we have to dance for the whole song? And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. Whatever they want, they can give me the signal. And I tell them this, listen, just look over at me, give me the head nod and I'll fade it out right then and there. Yeah. So that they don't have to do this or anything, right? Just look over it, give me the head nod. And that way it's seamless, And so I just tried to put always and usually in there. I usually chat with them before their big dances and just kind of get the nerves out and let them know that I'm here for them and that it's going to sound perfect. So those are the few questions I think that really get thrown at us right away. And then, do we play an extra hour or do we play later than the end time would be the last one that they usually ask. And the answer to that is also yes, it's an extra charge, obviously, at the end of the night per hour. But we've done it, we do it. And, if your party goes late, shall be it. Let's rock on.
I'm glad you mentioned charges a little bit there. And we don't have to get into specifics, but I'm curious. Sure. I love to hear on just what couples can expect on average for a DJ. And I know your services vary, so it depends on a lot of factors. It's not black and white, and it's not very clear cut. It really varies.
Yeah.
But in your experience, what is a good range that couples can expect to be paying for a very well-known, experienced, trustworthy DJ that knows how to read the room and deliver?
I'll back up a little bit maybe, and I'll just kind of trek back just a little bit and just say there's a lot of incredible DJs in this city. I don't want to take anything away from everybody. We're all different, but there's a level of importance with weddings, and some DJs are just meant to be wedding DJs and some aren't. And the pricing reflects that type of environment that you're hiring for your big day. I would say, before COVID era, there was wedding DJs that were in that economy. It was roughly, 13, 14, $1,500. You could get yourself a pretty decent DJ. And then as these DJ companies went on and they, spent more money on higher end products, and they, bought more dance floor wraps and sparklers and all these different things, they upgraded themselves to be a higher end service. So as we buy these really high end products and this hardware to use for our couples and our events, I think raising prices, obviously reflecting the economy and everything else, as companies get bigger and stronger and use better equipment, we have the opportunity to charge a bit more in that regard, saying that we're not trying to make more money. Just the whole purpose of it isn't to make more money, but it's to reflect the type of service that we provide. Now, in the industry, there's a lot of really great DJs, but they shelf themselves because of maybe the products they use or the type of training they have as a microphone host, or maybe as a DJ, they might not, be able to take things to the next level. But in the city locally, you'll kind of have an understanding as who these big names are. And it doesn't always reflect to pricing. I mean, if you want to start with a really great DJ now, I would say probably $1,500-$1,600, you could get a decent DJ. And as soon as you hit $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 for just reception alone, that's when you're going to start realizing that they're using the advanced sparklers with the click buttons and everything surrounded perfectly. And it's got the long cord so that you don't see like anything's hanging out in the middle of the room. And it's matter. God, it's the little things that really take that class and that professionalism to the next level. The bridal planners are the ones that have shown us how to do that, with their creativity and all these different pieces that they put together, and the unique color and vibe, that vibrance. That's how planners really take your whoa factor to the next level. Yeah. We use music. So for us, we had to take an innovative style of DJing and entertainment to the next level. And how do we do that? We kind of had to rely on technology, photo booths, video booths. The 360 booth was a huge one. There's a new one coming out shortly here that's pretty expensive that kind of zooms in on you and whatnot. It's really cool. Yeah. So
hopefully not too close to see all my pores, but yes.
I mean, it's close. It's getting close, So I think a good value start for a DJ, if you really want somebody that's going to connect with you, connect with your family, give you that extended, detailed breakdown of what you're going to do for them, the value they find in your services, the expensive hardware that you're bringing, the punctuality, you're on time, you're early, you're set up the day before. There's so many little things that these DJ companies do to separate themselves from those $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 DJs. Yeah. And then don't get me wrong, I don't want to diss them. I'm not saying that they're bad DJs. I just think that you are reflecting your level of potential with the hardware you're purchasing in the pricing that the pricing demographic that you're kind of placing yourself in. If you really want an elite DJ in Edmonton right now, I would say aim and budget for about 17 and above, 18 and above.
Okay, no, that's good to know. It puts things into context, right? And there's obviously a lot of things you do behind the scenes that couples don't see, and the investment you put back into the company. I'm the same way. I run a company that is very much geared around gear, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And obviously, to keep it sustainable, you have to keep up with the cost of subscriptions and licensing. Yeah. Obviously, when you're playing all this top 40 music, someone's paying for that license.
That's right.
Right. And it doesn't come cheap. Right. And so you talked about this a little bit earlier, and I wanted to come back to this because I know we talked about this before we hit record. Sure. Is about the LED walls that you are offering now.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I'm really curious on how that translates into a wedding, because I've seen LED walls in corporate settings and conferences, but how does that translate to a wedding?
In weddings, they're different. They provide a completely different ambience. Some of them decide to put them behind their head table to showcase, calligraphy art for their names written in a certain way, or you can have things linger and have it play a winter themed vibe. So for example, you could have a venue that you have your wedding at, and behind you or behind the dance floor, wherever you want, you could have a complete winter theme playing, so that it changes the dynamic of the room. If you add up lighting to that, you can create that lighting all the way around the room, so that when you walk in, you almost feel like you're at let's just use a winter fest, for example. You could have snowflakes playing on the entire screen, and it's snowing on the screen, and then around the room is like a light teal blue to make you feel like you're a part of winter.
It's like those AI or AR artificial backgrounds you see for like Zoom meetings, and it's like, are you really on the beach in Mexico right now, or are you in your office in Edmonton in -30 below weather in February, right? So
you can totally change the room with LED walls, and I think it's probably our biggest new booking for hardware. Like everyone's booking. It's our new booking. We just launched it, and it's been being booked quite a bit. We've sold quite a few packages on it now, and a lot of the hotels I find are where we use them the most.
The space, I guess.
Yeah, just having the high ceilings and stuff. But corporate events, they love their logo flashing around behind them on the stage when they're talking. Yes. So it really is cool. It's the new scene. Before they had billboards, right? And then we had backdrops, right? Now they have video promotion boards, and now we have video back walls. So the LEDs, the LED walls are really taking off right now, and I think they're great.
I love that. Cool. I hope that I'll be able to experience that in person sooner rather than later. Now, obviously, as a DJ, you're bringing entertainment to the floor, but there's other ways, musically wise, couples have choices on how to get that same vibe on the dance floor, whether it's hiring a DJ or a live band, or for some couples just plugging in their phone and having a Spotify playlist going. Right. I'd love to hear just the differences in those three. And obviously I've done weddings where there's been a hybrid of a DJ playing, and then they take a break, and then the band is playing and they do a set, and then they're going back and forth. So you want to touch on that a little bit?
Sure. Bands are amazing. I don't think there's anything more impressive than playing a live instrument. I mean, DJs play, I guess you could say, kind of somewhat of a live instrument. It's a little bit of a different style of instrument. But when you watch somebody play live, there isn't really much that takes you to a whole new level of excitement. I don't think hiring one or the other is bad or good. I think that it just all depends on what you are trying to create for your event. Bands are great. Bands are awesome. You can stand in front there, cheer on, scream at the top of your lungs. You're obviously not hearing the original song that you sang along to in your car all the time, but it's a different environment, and it completely provides that more live entertainment feel. Rather, a DJ is a DJ, and you can definitely coagulate and mix them a little bit nicely. You can have bands and DJs play well together. We work really closely with the Brass Tactics, the Edmonton Oilers band, and we actually do events with them. So
cool.
Yeah, they're amazing. We've actually done quite a few shows together with them, and we play along with them. So we'll play the music as a DJ, and the band will just kind of come in with the trumpet for a saxo beat or something. A song will come on like that.
That's really neat. I like that.
Excuse me. And sorry, I just had the birthday. My apologies. And so I think that there's value in every single hire. If somebody doesn't want to hire either or and just wants a Spotify playlist, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not going to shun somebody for doing what they want, but you're definitely not going to get that personality and that music flair, the creativity, the on-the-spot request list. I guess with Spotify, you could have an on-the-spot request. That's exactly what it is, but you don't get it played like you would kind of want it played, right? It's just like everybody's sitting in the same car as you, and everybody gets to just hear the same way, hear the song the same way that you're hearing it. There's nothing really advanced to it. Whereas a DJ provides personality behind it. I really find huge value in playing the right song at the right time, rather than just having a song played. And
reading the room, right?
Yeah. It changes it. It changes everything.
Does.
And so, you have a band, I'm sure you can give them requests, but usually a band plays a pretty strict set because they want to nail it, right? So they have a set list that they usually play. Maybe they might take a couple of requests from the bride and groom and say, hey, what would you like us to play there? But mostly, and I mean, any band members out there, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they have a set list that's
It's like going to a concert,
pretty
right?
standard. Yeah. And with DJs, we're on the fly request lists with personalities. So we can make or break that environment by playing the right song at the right time. One thing I like to do personally, I'll just share a little trick. I mean, DJs, feel free to take this and run with it, but I'll chat with the groomsmen or the bridesmaids during the night, and I'll say, hey, I have a song for the groom. And, usually we pick Creed higher. And I'll say, can you grab the groomsmen and pick them up and carry them around the room, and I'll play Creed higher.
Oh, yes.
The videographers, the photographers,
higher?
It just takes the energy of the room to the next level, and you don't expect it. But if you're a groom or you're a bride and all of a sudden, Spice Girls Wannabe comes on, or Unwritten comes on, and all your girls are singing with you, carrying you on a chair around the room, it's those little fine details that you kind of go outside of the box to do to create a brand new experience for your couples, something that's a completely different vibe, something that $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 DJs do because they've done 500, 600 plus weddings. And, we've done it 100 times and we know it works. So I think that's where you find a little bit of the extra value in hiring the professionals. And I think there's a lot of room to advance and grow as DJs, as music grows. I mean, a lot of the music's growing in the wrong direction, I'm not going to lie, but there's a lot of really good music. And I think EDM is taking over now more than ever. But I will say this, 90s and early 2000s will always be the greatest dance floor era of all time. Eras, I guess, of all time. But those generations, the 1990s to 2000 and 2000 to 2010-ish, 2015, those two generations are the bulk of my dance floors.
There were some bangers in that time.
Woo, 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 woo.
I know you talked a little bit about this before, but I'd love for you to dive into a little bit more about some of the unknown benefits of hiring a DJ and some of the things that you do behind the scenes that couples don't see, but do have an impact on how their day goes. And do you want to touch on that?
Sure. There's a lot of really fine details that are missed at weddings. When I get a chance to meet the family and talk to some people, there's little things that go about the day that are hiccups. There's things that kind of get thrown to the side and you have to come back to later. And one of them being, I'll talk about my buddy's wedding. His grandpa wasn't really comfortable in the chairs they were sitting in. And so at the DJ booth, I'm just looking around. I'm kind of just checking out the room, seeing who's doing what, seeing where everybody is. I'm following the script, kind of just anticipating what's going on, and maybe some things might change. I'm just keeping my eyes open there as things are changing in the room. And I could really tell that his grandpa was uncomfortable. And I had a big winter jacket. It was really cold at the time. I had a big fluffy winter jacket at the time. And I went over to him and I said, like, are you okay or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I'll talk to you in a second if I need you. He's like, I'm just trying to figure some things out here. I said, no problem. So he waves me over later, and I was like, are you uncomfortable or anything? He said, yeah. He's like, I got a bad hip here or whatever. I was like, no problem. I'll be right back. So I just went and grabbed my jacket. I puffed it up and I was like, here, sit on this. And, whatever. It's just noticing what's happening around you and trying to find ways to make all the little things that nobody else seeing is happening that maybe, jeopardize the day or jeopardize a part of the day, and just jumping in and tackling that. Oh, you guys need help moving chairs because the ceremony needs to turn over fast. Let's do that. The Pendennis, they're great there. I ended up having to wipe down a whole bunch of chairs because it rained immediately before the wedding. And I don't want anything from that. I don't expect anything from it. I don't expect anybody to tell me a great story. I don't record it on my phone or anything. It's being present and being a class act with whatever vendors you're working with and whichever venue you're at, just keeping that 5-star level of class and your head up above your computer, watching what's going on and being that person to just be able to transition with their family at any time with whatever they need. I think that's the biggest part of being outside of a DJ, helping them make their day happen. And just being a personality that they trust.
Yeah, I'm such a firm believer in checking your ego at the door and being team bride and groom. And I used to be a banquet server. I used to be a hotel manager before I got into doing what I do now. And so I not quite often, but I have at times had to put on that hat of, helping this finish set a table or whatever.
Yep.
To Because to me, again, the day is not about me. It's not about you. It's about the couple and doing the right thing
Hmm.
and not expecting anything in return. I think there needs to be a lot more of that in the world.
Totally.
And yeah, I think it just says more about your character than anything else. And I only have amazing people on the podcast, and I mean
Oh man.
you are a prime example. You're the gold standard when it comes to that.
No, I appreciate you, man. You know how to make a guy feel good, and we're definitely grateful. But we'd be nothing without our team. Honestly, we'd be nothing without our team, and I have to say that because no one ever did anything alone.
Yeah.
Everybody had a team with them that succeeded, and that's huge. I have to give credit to our team. They're incredible DJs. They're incredible personalities. They're punctual. They're on time. They care about our brand like we do. And you can feel and see and hear that when you're working with other vendors, photographers or secondhand photographers. You're hiring as somebody to come on for the second lead for the day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're caring about your brand and they're, kicking butt and taking names and making you look good, that's what matters, I think, the most. Yeah.
No, I love that. So what does 2025 look for yourself and Happy Life Entertainment and beyond? What are you really excited about this year besides the LED walls?
Besides the LED walls, we've really refined. We've really refined our team. Refined. Why do I keep saying that? Refined our team and the way we teach our DJs how to host and carry the room. What I mean by that is, it's not easy to host. There's special microphone training that you need to learn in order to sound proper and sound articulate on there, to be able to use a loud voice and announce a couple's name into the room properly. You don't need to be Bruce Buffer, but you absolutely 100% need to know how to properly yell into a microphone. Because if you don't, it's going to sound terrible.
And
And
I've heard it.
I think I really like to focus the most on how to talk and host with our team, like just innovating and being different, being creative and whatnot. But having each one of our DJs go out as a personality that represents our brand the way we want them to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of companies really need to try hard to have that happen. Whereas we hire DJs that are already personalities, that are already great people, family oriented, honest individuals that are just genuine souls that love to DJ. We hire those people, and it's a bonus if they learn how to DJ better and host better. It's easy to teach them. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Get the good person in there and teach them how to do everything after. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much to it, right? Like 2025 is going to be a big year. There's new technology. There's new gear that we're putting out. There's a lot more people at bridal shows. The bridal shows are there's a lot more of them, right?
Yeah.
So we got to be sharp. We have to have our sales practice and our sales tactics on board. When you listen to other people sell, it's like they can sell anything. So I want to be able to sell value instead of just selling something, right? I don't want to sell a bridal package. I want to sell memories. And at Happy Life, I think we're focused more on selling memories rather than we're trying to sell a package. Like,
I love that.
Tesla sells the future, right? We sell memories. We wanted to kind of transition that process and allow the brides to realize that, like, we're all in on this.
Awesome. Are you guys still booking for this year, or are you like full?
We're almost full this year. We have a couple odd dates that are open. Some Thursdays and Sundays, a couple Fridays here and there, but we're almost fully booked up. Next year, we're actually surprisingly quite booked up as well. So we're getting nice. Rolling again. Things are starting to pick up for all companies, not just us. So
nice.
Shout out to everybody.
Woo-hoo. I love that. No, that's awesome to hear. And how can couples reach out, follow along? You want to drop your own handle and Happy Life, and then your website as well?
Sure. Right now, you can go to, you can email us if there's any inquiries at info@happylifeent.ca. You can hit us up at happylifeent.ca on our website as well. You can check out all of our packages and pricing there. And if you want to hit us up on social media at Happy Life Entertainment, and on Instagram, we're Happy Life DJs. We just want to switch it up and kind of be something a little different on there and showcase the DJ side of things, because that's where a lot of the content is placed for us. So yeah, Happy Life DJs on Instagram, and then Happy Life Entertainment everywhere else.
Did you want to share your personal one, DJ Twixxx?
Yeah, I have DJ Twixxx with 3 X's. I'll give you a quick little spiel about that. There's a young kid in the States there that had DJ Twixxx with 1 X, and I messaged him and he said, "Do you want to buy it for 10,000?" I said, "All right, I'll talk to you later." So DJ Twixxx with 3 X's on Instagram. Please tell me, how is it? I gotta know.
First time trying the Twixxx.
Let me know.
It's actually really good. It's really good. Okay, there must be something in the name. It's really actually good.
It's that graham wafer in there that gives you that extra little snap, you know?
It is. If you can't see this, if you're not listening or watching this on YouTube, please do. Now, before I let you go, there's one other thing, a request I have, special request. I haven't asked you this before, so full transparency.
Okay.
I need my own DJ name. And I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
So I love the dance. I'm out there on the dance floor. I love from you, just on the spot, if you could give me a DJ name, what would I be?
Your last name is Mayer, right?
Mar. Yeah. DJ Twixxx, Mars Bar, like.
You could be like DJ Mars, or you could be like I'd call it, honestly, I would just call you DJ Kev. I'd call you DJ Kev even. Like DJ Kev is actually a pretty chill name. It's, you could throw it in a logo real easily, and or even just yeah, what was it? How do you say it again? Mar, yeah, just like, but spell it like that, but like Mars bars. Like,
yeah, it's pronounced like Mars, like the planet.
Yeah, why not? There you go, Mars bar. It would be Twixxx and Mars bar, the duo.
I'm gonna have to bring a Mars bar on the next podcast.
I love that.
Well, Tom, it's been an absolute blast having you on. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you really enjoyed yourself. Thanks for just being a cool dude and just being just a class act. You know, every time we get to hang out, and hopefully we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other on the wedding scene this year.
Yes.
It's a busy year for both of us, so I can't wait.
We're going to be running into each other a lot this year, and it's going to be a great year, and I'm looking forward to it, buddy. So again, thank you. I am extending my gratitude forever to you for having me on the show, and I really think you're doing big things, and I'm forever grateful. So thank you, Kevin, and yeah, I hope you just have the greatest evening, buddy.
Well, DJ Twixxx and DJ Kev are out.
DJ Mars Bar.
Mars Bars. I love it.
Cheers.
Well, thanks again to Tom Wilcox, DJ Twixxx, for coming on and really sharing your wealth and knowledge with the viewers and listeners here on the Alberta Wedding Podcast. It was such a blast just hearing your story, hearing how the name DJ Twixxx came about, and so much more. If you want to learn more, definitely check them out on Instagram, go to their website. And I'm really excited to see where their future is going to go with these LED walls and just really being great hosts on the wedding day. So definitely check them out. If you're looking for a DJ, they're certainly on the top of my list when it comes to bringing a professional DJ that is going to really elevate the experience on your wedding day. So thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in this time, and I can't wait to see you all next time right here on the Alberta Wedding Podcast. Take care, everyone.